What is going on? So, look, there is a lot of chatter going on in the world of the economy. There's a lot of people, a lot of experts predicting a major black swan event that is getting ready to take place. If you thought the coronavirus was the black swan event, you are sadly mistaken. It's not. Not at all. Okay, so what does a black swan event mean for us? But can we benefit from it? Because a black swan event has three signs. One of them is the event happens. It happens quickly and it catches everybody by surprise. The second criteria of what a black swan is that the event is so big that it changes perspective. It changes things profoundly, whether positive or negative. Some people thinking Jacera and Nasera. Okay, and the third, one of the third traits, of course, is when it's all said and done, people like to sit back and play money back quarterbacking and sit down and say, oh, we knew this was going to happen, when in fact you didn't know it was going to happen. Okay. So before we get into this again, real quick, just a quick reminder, if you haven't already, please subscribe because it helps out the channel. In my description, I'll leave a link to Pimpy's investment chat. It's the same name as the YouTube channel. And in here, you will find all kinds of neat information. There's a lot of people who will talk about the Iraqi dinar. You will get news about it as well. Vietnam dong, the Zim dollar, gold, silver, and cryptocurrencies. Okay, so let me encourage you to go there. Just follow the link and it'll bring you here. Okay, I want to show you this quick clip from part of Adam Beretta's, I believe that's how you pronounce that. I'm probably hacking his name, Beretta, his presentation. But I just want you to hear something because it makes a point.
In 1929, easy monetary policies had pushed wealth into the hands of just a few. The wealth gap was the largest in human history. It led to anger, which led to the election of populist leaders. These leaders adopt policies of nationalism and tariffs. That easy money led to massive asset bubbles. The Roaring Twenties saw stocks quadruple. The Warren Buffett indicator, which measures the market cap to GDP ratio, hit 141% in 1929. The signs today are exactly the same. Today, the Warren Buffett indicator is at 155%. The stock market has increased 4 times in the last decade.
And of course, you know, anger leads to populism, and populism is somebody like Trump. It's when people are tired of the status quo and they want change. And so they vote people into power to make that change happen. All right. So for those of you who aren't aware, over the last 3 years since Trump's election, we have seen a huge movement in populism candidates. As a matter of fact, the vast majority of the leaders around the world are all populist leaders. And then they started, their platform was nationalism, okay? So, you know, and Trump did the same thing. Look, you have to take care of yours before we can take care of others. All right. What these people are all doing is these people are voting populist leaders because they're rejecting this whole new world order agenda, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call them, the globalist open border agenda. It's not working. Okay. So, you know, here's my thing about this event. Okay. People want to know, are there signs? Is there anything we can see that's going to point us to the fact that this is realistic? It's going to happen. And what can we do to prepare ourselves to either benefit from this situation or to avoid taking a major hit? And I mean financially. So let's talk about this. Look, in 1929, we saw this happen. The guy just talked about it in the roaring 20s. We saw the stock market get significantly increased. Okay. It's going to happen again. In 2018, in one of my posts, I put in that, you know, don't be surprised if, and this is back when the stock market was around, I think it was 22,000. I think it was. I said that based on everything that I've read, don't be surprised if you don't see the stock market quickly shoot up, gold and silver prices start to drop, and then something happen to cause the stock market to drop, but it won't be the real crash. It'll just be a way to get speculators to start really losing your money is what it is. And so what happens is when speculators, people who are not really, I'm talking about amateur stockbrokers, whenever they see the stock market drop, they quickly sell their stocks from panic of losing a lot of money. What real pros know in stock is this: you never sell on the dip, you sell when it's high. All right. So what they do is this: they don't sell their stock when the market drops because they don't panic. They always know that sooner or later the stock market will turn around and it will recover. So all they have to do is just wait it out. Speculators, they will invest emotionally. So when they see a drop, they panic that they're losing money. I've learned my lesson the hard way with cryptocurrencies about that. That's why when it starts to drop, I didn't panic, and I told people, don't panic. Don't invest emotionally. Leave it alone. So what happens is then all the rich people see all the speculators dropping all their shares and they lost a lot of money, and they turn around, they buy all those shares back at a discounted rate. And then they just hold on to them and benefit from the increase in value again. So when I say that this crash that's happening right now is not a real crash, it's not. This is a trend. This is a trend that I've seen. It's all the stuff that I read. There is a drop. Speculators will emotionally sell their stocks at a discount, and they take a huge loss. And they're like gamblers. When gamblers lose, they want to find a way to recoup their loss. So what we're going to see, and we're going to see it because you can see the trends already happening now. The stock market, for some reason, is climbing. How is that possible when we are all on lockdown? There is record number unemployment that just happened. Businesses are going bankrupt. People are locked in their homes, but yet the stock market magically continues to climb. I want you to think about that, all right? Why? That's because the rich people know to buy on the dip, all right? Every 90 years, we go through some type of cycle. Whatever it is. This is how the rich continue to stay in power and the poor continue to be enslaved. We don't learn from this lesson. And according to Adam, and that is the reason is because by the time we go through this event in our lifetime, it'll be another 90 years before one comes. And usually by then, a vast majority of people that experience this, that could talk about it, will be dead. So there's nobody there to warn or remind the people in the future of what to look out for. Well, technology's changed, and so I'm benefiting from it because I'm going out and doing the research and learning this on my own. Okay, so look, every 90 years, and we're there again. So what happens every 90 years? We go through some major war. Do you see this? The Revolutionary War, the Civil War, World War II. What do we have coming up here shortly? It is time. They all go hand in hand. One, there's a huge pandemic that first hits that causes people to panic in the stock market. The swine flu or the Spanish flu. All right. Then people dump. Then what happens is you see a quick recovery, and we're going to see a quick recovery. Make no doubt about it. People feel emboldened. They turn around, they invest, and they see the values of their investments shoot up quickly. They do make a lot of money. And then they mistakenly stay in there right when this event happens. We will see a crash. There is no ifs, ands, or but about it. It's going to be followed by some type of war, most likely with China. Make no doubt about that, because you could see already the tensions building up. But it's not just us that have problem with China. Spain, Italy, the Philippines, Indonesia, Vietnam are all having problems with China. China is trying to dominate the world. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go look up China 2025, where they had anticipated total world domination economically, trade, and via the military. Okay, well, those plans kind of got put on hold ever since Trump's been in office, okay? But what does this mean? Look, every 90 years or so, we go through a new global reserve currency change. It changes. It's time. It's happening again. But in order for us to be moved into whatever new system's coming up, a major event must happen. Something to where people are so desperate that they'll accept the status quo. We're seeing that happen again. So what could we do? What could we do about it? I know a lot of us are invested into the dinar and into the Vietnam dong. Whatever you have right now, you should just hold on to it. We will have an opportunity to make a lot of money. But if you think you're going to be able to hold on to that money for what's coming up, you have another thing coming. But you can protect yourself. If you're smart, you can protect yourself, okay? I'm changing my own personal strategy. Investors whose explosive strategy just returned 4,144% says a true stock crash is still to come. Do you see that? Investors, this is what they got on a return. They just returned. They lost 4,144%. This isn't even a true crash. No expert believes what we just went through on a stock market is a true crash. Let that sink in for a second. So we are in a unique opportunity, a unique position if we can find a way to take advantage of it. Okay, I'm changing my strategy. I told you that I'm changing my strategy. These people who all work for the reserve have created this debt that we have now. They have created a true unbalance in debt and wealth. So Adam is talking about what's coming up. In order for us to survive what's coming up, we're going to have a huge stock market crash, but not just a stock market crash, an economical crash in the 1929s. It was the United States went through the Great Depression. This that's coming up is much, 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 much bigger. This is worldwide. As you can see, when we watched Trump go through the trade wars, we saw economies everywhere and how they were affected. Why? Because of trades issues. People trading with China and people trading with the United States were affected. So what do you think is going to happen once we start to go through another depression? And it's going to be a depression. And now keep in mind, the first depression lasted about 3 years. There were no jobs. There's no way to make money. A lot of people suffered. So if you want to avoid that, you should be strategizing now on how to avoid that. The top 20 people, the 20th wealthiest people, have more money than 3,750,000,000 people. That is ridiculous. But you know what? We could get mad about it all we want. But guess what? Nothing's going to change. We won't do anything about it. Because we're getting ready to suffer through a tragic depression. The devaluation of money has to happen. Okay? Because everything is grossly overvalued. So start strategizing now. Okay? I have changed my strategy. Now, I have a couple of million dinar. That's all I need. I'm not going to get ridiculous and keep getting more and more, nor the Vietnam dong, which I'm sitting on about 4 million of those. But that's it. And I only got a couple of $1,000s in cryptocurrencies. Look, when it comes to cryptocurrencies, I have zero faith in it. I've said it many times. I told people that I'm also smart enough to realize that there's an opportunity in which you can make money, a small window. You could benefit from that, and that is coming up now. We know that in May that Bitcoin halving is going to take place, and at the current price of Bitcoin, it cannot stay there. It has to go up. Now, if you partner that up with the fact that real soon here, we're going to be done and we're going to be able to go back to work. People are not going to be on lockdown no more for the coronavirus. You're going to see this stock market rise. And I think, and I said back in 2018, don't be surprised if they don't pump it up somewhere around $36,000 up to $40,000 before the crash happens. They're going to do that. Why? They're going to sucker you people into this. They're going to sucker investors in. We know this, we watch it, and then we take advantage of it. Find a way to take a short-term advantage and not get greedy. If you get greedy is when you go broke. So my strategy is, and this is for me, whether I miss a bigger train and an opportunity to make money with cryptocurrencies or not. Over the next few months, I'm going to closely monitor cryptocurrencies. I do not plan to hold on to cryptocurrencies for very long. Once they get up to a certain point, I'm going to not only make back the money that I vested into it, but I anticipate making at least a pretty decent little profit. I'm not going to cash in all my cryptocurrencies, but I'm probably going to cash in somewhere between 50 to 75% of them just in case. And then I'm going to take that money and I'm going to invest it into what I absolutely positively know is going to benefit from this crash that is coming up. Make no doubt about it. Gold and silver is and always has been the strategy of the rich. As I go through and I research all these different crashes and increases, stock crashes or economy crashes, the one thing that these rich people always do is they turn around and they drop a ridiculous amount of their money into gold and silver. Right now, the values are really, really cheap. Silver value has been suppressed. So people go, well, which should you do? Well, buy gold and silver both. People say, how much, Pimpy? Well, I say you should at least get 1,000 ounces of silver. And if you can afford to get somewhere around 20 ounces of gold, if you can. But I want you to think about something. Every time these kind of booms happen, we usually see, and it's anticipated, I can tell you right now, that once this crash happens, the so-called experts are predicting that gold will go somewhere up between $10,000 and $15,000. So at the very highest, from where it is right now, you're probably looking at just a little over 7.5 times increase. So 7.5 times its value is what they're talking about. Silver, on the other hand, are talking about it being between $2,000 and $5,000 an ounce. So let's just take even the low side of $2,000 an ounce. You're looking at more than 100% increase. All right, 100% times its value. So which one do you want? Do you want 7.5 times your value of your investment, or do you want over 100 times your initial investment? It's just something to think about. Okay, so just think about that. That's what I am starting to do now. Okay, also, look, the one thing, if you haven't learned anything in the 2008 bubble crash, the one thing, there's only one thing, well, I should say one thing, there's only a few things that survived the 2008 crash. Gold and silver. Those drastically went up. Gold, I think, went up to about $40 an ounce, but it wasn't a true crash. And then we seen silver, silver went up to, I should say, $40 an ounce, okay? So, if you think about where we are now, and even if it does that, that's doubling your money, but it's not. Trust me, they're going to go up ridiculously once this crash happens. So when you go, right now, my strategy is to pump as much money into gold and silver as possible. I'm literally going around my house thinking about what things I have to have, what things are necessary for my survival, and getting rid of all the other frivolous crap I don't need. Like, I have a poker table. I love playing poker, but the truth of the matter is I can get a new one later. But right now I'm selling stuff like that. I have extra fishing poles, extra bicycles. I'm just getting rid of them. I have 2 barbecues. One of them is brand new. I don't even need it. I'm just going to sell it. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm getting rid of, and that's what you should do. Think about this. Go around your house and say, what don't I need anymore? And get rid of it and start pumping it into gold and silver. Now, people are asking me about the strategy on that. And here's my thing. People go, should I buy silver rounds or silver bars? It doesn't matter. Either one is fine. But what I would recommend to you is this. First, buy your fractionals, because if they do go up in value and the world suffers an economical crash, you're not, if you go in with a 1 ounce silver coin or 1 ounce gold coin, expecting somebody to trade you equal in value, it's not going to happen. If you're going to trade your gold and silver to get food, to get bread, to barter, to make deals, you know what I mean? Most people are not going to be able to give you the return to that value. All right. So what you want to do is buy fractionals. What I mean by that is buy 1 gram bars of silver. Get about 500 of those first. And then buy all of your gold in 1 gram bar. Sure, you're paying a little higher premium, but those are easier to barter with because they're in smaller denominations, okay? Do you see where I'm going with this? Now, if you have a lot of money, then what you do is I would buy probably about, 20 grams, 25 grams of gold, but definitely 500 grams of silver. They're just little tiny bars that you could break into. They're tiny. Just think of them as coins. And then after that, store up the rest of whatever you have in 1 ounce bars. or 1 ounce rounds. It doesn't make a difference. But you want to physically own this stuff, man. You want to hide it somewhere in your house, get it hidden. Okay, and don't be surprised if they don't go around and try to find a way to confiscate gold and silver from people. They did it before. That doesn't mean they won't try it again. So that means you have to find a way to hide it in your house. Find a way to store it where nobody can find it. You want to physically own the gold and silver. If you have a big enough yard somewhere, find a way to dig a hole. Find a way to hide it somewhere. And that's how serious this is going to be, all right? So I recommend that you do that. The more I keep seeing what's happening, the more I'm starting to realize that, again, we're falling right into the same pattern. So all my 401ks, everything that I have now, this is what I did. And again, I'm not an expert. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't hold very much cash in my bank account at all. At all. I have a safe, and that's where I keep it. And I only have enough to last me for about 3 months. 3 months of bills, 3 months for food. So you have to sit around a budget. How much money can you get by? And then make sure you keep 3 months worth of your currency. Because if this thing happens and there's a bail-in, all your money is gone. Not to mention, if this crash happens, how many people are going to be running to the ATM draining it? Look what's happening now over the coronavirus. So plan ahead of time. Once people start going out, this is the time to start stocking up now. Go ahead, find a pantry, stock up on canned goods, do what you need to do. This isn't fear-mongering. If you haven't learned anything yet, then you're just wasting your time. So that's what I'm doing. My strategy has changed. No more dinars, no more Vietnam dongs. Once these things hit, don't be surprised if quickly after that, Jacera and Nacera, it's necessary because they're going to devalue their currency. That means in order for this to really happen, all debt and all monies are going to have to be bottomed out. They're going to have to just to keep the masses from hanging politicians. Don't be surprised if they don't start forgiving debts. All right? I know it sounds like fear-mongering. I'm just saying this is my opinion. There's something bigger happening. So if gold and silver go up to $10,000, $15,000 an ounce for gold, and silver goes up between $2,000 and $5,000, think about how much money you want to have coming through on the other side. Because once we start to recover from this economical crash, you will then have an opportunity to actually be wealthy on the other side. And you should start buying into real estate then. On the lessons from Cyprus, if you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend it again, that you go back and you watch that video and watch what happened to those people. The real estate dropped overnight 20% in value. That's why people keep going, are you going to buy real estate now? No, I'm not. Why? I could buy way more on the other side. After the value of real estate has taken a major hit, I'm anticipating between a 40 to 60% loss in value. So think about that. People go, wow, I want this $2 million home because I got enough from the dinar. Why? If you just wait on the other side, you could probably pick it up for about $1 million and maybe less, okay? So look, you guys, I'm just letting you know, this is my opinion. My strategy has now changed. Anything and everything that I now have is going straight into gold and silver, period. Now, I recommend that you don't buy over the internet if you can avoid it. Okay, if you can avoid it, or if you can, pay somebody else to buy it for you, because you don't want to leave any kind of paper trail. Have somebody that you trust go on the internet and order it for you. Just give them the money and they'll order it for you and have it sent there and just pick it up. Or go to your local gold and silver coin store where they sell gold and silver bullion. Go buy it, physically own it, physically get it. I can't recommend this enough. I hope this makes sense, you guys. I think we're heading in that direction. We are now going on the last ride up before the major crash takes place. All right? I'll talk to you later. Bye.